So in this video, I'm going to go over how to make changes to the 2x Partners website. So I'm now at the website 2xpartners.com. The next thing I want to do is I want to open up a new tab and go to 2xpartners.com/wp-admin. And then I'm going to go ahead and sign in with my credentials. So now that I'm signed in, and once you sign in as well, you'll be able to see the WordPress dashboard, and it looks like this. Now, the reason why I like to have two tabs open is so that one tab has the WordPress dashboard where I'm going to make my changes, and the other tab will contain the site so that I can see how my changes reflect on the site. Now, I'm going to go down the left-hand menu and show you how each of the menu items will affect the website. So the first menu item is posts. Now, post is going to be the collection of news that appears on your website. So everything under the news section is essentially a post. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new post. And just like Microsoft Word, you could make all the text changes that you like. So you can bold things. You can also italicize certain letters. You can highlight words and then make it into a hyperlink if you wish. And you can also add images by going to Add Media. And you can either drag and drop new images into this window or select an image that already exists on the site. So in this case, I'm going to choose an image that already exists on the site. And here on the right-hand side, we have a couple options. We can either save it as a draft if it's not ready to go live, or we can either publish, or lastly, we can also set it to publish at a future time. Now, for now, I'm just going to click on publish. Now, because it's the most recent article created, it will show up at the top of the news page, as you can see here. So that's essentially news in a nutshell. Now we can go back to all posts, and we can also either edit it or we can just delete it. Now, because this is just an example, I'm going to go ahead and click on trash to delete it. And now it should not show up on the site. And there you go. The next section I want to go over is slides. So slides is going to be the home page slider that we see over here. Now, we currently have 8 slides, and they're all ordered by ascending order. So this is the first slide, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and so forth. So for example, if I edit the third slide, we see it's going to be the Blue Dog Bakery along with some of the products. So if I refresh this page and I go to the third slide, second and third, we see that this particular admin section applies to this particular page. Here we can see that for emerging consumer product business, that shows up here. So you can change the text over here. Now, growth partners is constant, so you're not able to change that. And you're also able to upload the image that you see here. So the background image of this entire thing. The other thing I want to showcase in terms of the slider is that you can reorder the slider. So if you wanted that third one to be first, how the ordering of the sliders work is that it's actually by date. So what I mean by that is if I click on edit on the first one, we see that it's December 9, 2016, 9:28. For the second one, it's November 9, 26, 9:25. So it's in the order of the most recent date. So if I change this this one to be 2018, making it the most recent, you should see Benito's be the first slide instead of the second slide. So I went ahead and updated that. And now we see that the Benito's is the first slide. Now, I wouldn't necessarily change the first slide position just because that one is unique. But you can change anything that's second and above. So there's 8 slides. So any slides between 2 and 8, you can kind of change the order. So let me correct this and put this back to its original position, which is slide number 2. So let's see. It will have to be 2016, so 11. 2016, 11, 9. Okay. You could do a quick edit here. Let's see if that makes the change. And beneath is the second one, perfect. The first slide is unique. The first slide, as you can see, it's going to look a little bit different. It's custom, so it's going to look a little bit different from slide 2 through 8. So anything that's not the first one, we see that they're similar. So any of these slides you can change, but definitely not the first one, which is apparent because when we go ahead and click on edit to the first one, oops. I have to refresh. We can see that it has the 2x partner and not a product, as well as the background image being the gray background. And we can see that the background and this top image is separate out. While for this entire product and the background of the colors is essentially one entire image. So again, only slides 2 through 8 can be changed in terms of order, and the order is by the most recent date. So again, if I look at all slides, I can see 2016, 12, December of 2016. This is November, October, September, August. So it's aligned by date. You may want to revisit this particular section and get it updated so that's easier to manage, but I'll leave that up to you guys. The next section I want to go over is team members. Now, team members will show up under teams, and there is essentially 2 types of teams. There's the investment team, and then there's the industry venture partners. And that's apparent when I click on, if I wanted to add a new team member, let's do John Doe. On the right-hand side, I can select if this person's going to show up in both industries and investment team or one of them. So in this case, I want Joel to show up in just the investment team. Now, I can also upload an image and add more to the detail, as well as some of the member details, but I'll leave that blank. You can fill that out and see how that updates the site. But if I refresh, we see that Joe is now the first one of the investment team. Let's give him a designation. And we can see that the designation is right there. As I open it, this is the bio. Now for the other ones like email and phone, that will show up if you fill out the appropriate details down here. Now to change the orders of the member, so let's say I want John Doe to be last, for example. We'll go back to team. We can go to all teams or all team members, and I can actually click and drag him, and let's have him be last. So I'm going to drag him all the way to the bottom. Now it does matter which team he's in. So for the investment team, I could probably just drag him to be last of the investment team group, and he'll be last. So it's not necessarily last on this page. It's just last in the groupings that person will be in. Now, it's interesting enough that the industry venture partners are split among the investment teams, because this is ordered by first name, or maybe it's ordered by the date published. But you know, you can still rank them by just polling and having them last. So let's, for like John Doe, I'll just make him last just to make it simple. Trying to get it to stick. There you go. And now if I refresh, John Doe is now last. So that's pretty much it for teams. I'm going to go ahead and delete. Now media allows you to upload images to the server, and you may or may not need to work with this section particularly, because other sections will allow you to upload images, which will automatically add images or assets to this particular section. The media library basically encompasses all the types of files that you have uploaded to the server, and allows you to easy access to them. So you can always search for particular types of assets in case you ever wanted to delete it off the server, or if you want to see if you have uploaded it. The next section you want to go over is resources. And resources is exactly what shows up on the main page on the website, and essentially allows you to add more assets to the resource page. So in this case, we have all PDF files. So all of these are just PDF files that have been uploaded. So if you were going to add new, and let's go ahead and add something new, you would upload a PDF file, and then you would drag the asset into this window, or you can click on upload files and then select it on your desktop. I am, for the sake of testing, will just select a PDF that's already been uploaded. And I'm going to go ahead and click on publish. And I believe because it's the most recent one published, it'll be shown up at the top. But just like members, if I go to all resources, I can, am I allowed to drag? No, I'm not allowed to drag and drop. So if you're not able to drag and change the order, so in the case of resources as well as posts, then it's going to be by the date published. So if I want this to show up last, then I have to put it in a faraway date. So something past 2016 of March 29th. Now, I don't think that this will be an issue with resources, because most likely the most recent resource that gets published on the site, you most likely want that to be at the top anyways. But in the event that you're uploading an old resource and you want it to show up last or somewhere in between, you'll just have to change the date in order for that to happen. So I'm going to set this to 2010 and then update it, and then the test resource should be last. So there you go. Now, because this is a test, I'm just going to go ahead and delete this off the server. Now, the next thing I wanted to showcase is now the investors. And the investors is going to be under about. It's not under the about. Yes, it's going to be under portfolio. So no cow. it's going to be these natural with this as the logo and then this as the banner image, as we could see here. Now, I'm not sure what the banner image is for. I think there are some things that are deprecated now that no longer shows up on the website, but you can still upload the logo and it will show up in this section here. And I believe for investors, the drag and drop functionality does work. So if I do blue dog and I drag it up to first, so this one should now be first. And it does make the change, so that worked. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back. But for example, let's say I want to add a new investor, which is portfolio. The part that matters the most is really going to be the logo image. So I'm going to select an image that already exists. I'm going to select this one. And it's because it's my most recent one created, it's going to show up first, and then everything else is going to rotate accordingly. So there you go. So all these sections over here, for example, as well as the banner actually shows up on the right hand side. So let's go ahead and click on this and use this. Let's go ahead and click on update and then refresh the page, and it shows up on the right hand side. So the banner image as well as the text when I select no cow. So because that was a test, I'm going to go ahead and delete that. So investors will show up as portfolio items. If I refresh, no cow should disappear. Perfect. One more thing I wanted to jot down is make sure that you follow the dimensions of 140 pixels wide and 80 pixels high so that the image shows up nice. The best practice is to use PNGs, which allows you to have transparency. So that way it would look nice on the website, as well as if this were to not be a white background, the logos will still show up, and the background will still show through to the logo. So PNGs if possible, if not, then JPEG with a white background will work. And then for the banner image, it's going to be 600 pixels by 326 pixel. And that basically covers the investors / portfolio section. The next thing I want to showcase is pages. In the event that you actually want to add new pages to the site. So let's say I wanted to create a new page. So I'm going to click on Add New. And I'm going to click Create a Test Page. And of course, I can add an image. Let's go ahead and add an image. Now I've created the page. So if I go to 2xpartners.com/tests, so let me go ahead and click on that, I'll have my page, but I don't see it in the menus. That's because we have not assigned this new page to a menu. So let's go back. And let's say I didn't like the word, I didn't like the URL to be 2xpartners.com/test, but instead I wanted to have it called test page. I can click on edit over here and then change the wording so that now it's going to be 2xpartners.com/test page. So if I click on update and I go to 2xpartners.com/test page, that's now my new test page. Now if I go to 2xpartners.com/test, this will no longer work. So now let's go ahead and assign this page to the menu. Now we won't be able to make it into a top tier menu just because there's probably not enough space for it, but we could definitely try. So menu is going to be under appearance and menus. And you want to select top menu. And then here on the left hand side, we'll select tests, which is our most recent created test page, or our most recent created page. And let's say I wanted to have it show up second, so I can drag and then drop it to the second place there. Okay, so it's saved. If I refresh, okay, so we are able to add one more new top tier. So we can see the test is now second in the menu item. But we can also have it under a submenu. So like under about, all we have to do is drag it and have it indented under about, and it will show up under about. But that's not interesting just because we already have some submenus for about us. But let's do it under portfolio since we don't have anything under portfolio. So we'll put test under there. We'll click on save. Refresh the page. And then under portfolio, we now have tests in the menu. So that's how you assign tests, or how you assign a page to the menu. And that's essentially it for pages. Now, the one thing that you can do with pages is you can also password protect it. And if I click on OK and I click on update, now because I'm already logged in, it won't work, because if I go to the test page, oh, it looks like it still does work. So I would have, now it's password protected, and I will have to enter the password, which was test, in order to see it. So if you wanted to have pages that are password protected, you can. It's done on the right hand menu. And that is it for pages. So you can create a page. You're going to create a secret landing page where it's not part of the menu, but you have a URL so that for advertisement purposes, so 2xpartners.com/deals, for example, that won't be part of the menus, but anybody who has that hyperlink, that URL, will be able to go to that page and see it. You can also assign it to a menu. Top tier, you're allowed to have one more without the menu being too wide, or you can assign it underneath a top tier and have it as a submenu. In addition, you're also allowed to password protect the page so that any new people coming to the site would have to enter a password in order to view the contents of the page. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the test page. And the last thing I want to cover is Backup Buddy, which allows you to back up your website. So in the event that you're going to make a lot of changes and you're unsure or you're uncomfortable of making a lot of the changes, I would highly recommend creating a complete backup before making the changes. That way, if something happens and something disastrous happens and the site no longer works, or there's a problem that you can't fix, at the very least you still have a backup of the site prior to committing those changes. That way we can easily revert back to that state before the changes. So my recommendation is, upon big changes, go ahead and make a backup before those changes. And that's essentially it in terms of the 2x partners. As you can see, all the changes are done through the left-hand menus. They're done quick. Everything refreshes live on the site. My tip is to have 2 tabs. As you can see in this video, we can flip back and forth to see what the changes are. And that's basically it. Thanks.